I want to welcome everyone tonight to QLAC.direct. I'm Jim. I run the .direct site, so if you come to annuities.direct, QLAC.direct, SPIA.direct, DIA.direct, or MIGA.direct, you'll be able to run quotes on each of these four simple annuities. Tonight, we're going to focus on the QLAC, which is a qualified longevity annuity contract. We brought in the expert on annuities, Stan the Annuity Man. Stan, welcome to annuities.direct.
It is great to be here. For all the people out there that don't know, I am the walking middle finger of annuity truth, and I embrace that moniker, Jim. And by the way, that's not just Jim. I call him Jimmy.direct. He's the brains behind all these, how these great sites work. And just to remind everybody, annuities.direct, QLAC.direct, all of these sites, the first consumer direct sites where you can actually purchase annuities on your own terms, get your own quotes. You don't have to deal with some pesky agent. So even though I am the top agent in the country, I do consider myself pesky. No, I don't. But let's talk about QLAC.direct. QLACs stand for Qualified Longevity Annuity Contracts. In 2004, July of 2004, our beloved government, Department of Treasury, and the IRS developed the Qualified Longevity Annuity Contract to be used inside of a traditional IRA, non-Roth traditional IRA, that allows you to set up a future income stream that has to start before your age 85. It can start, before that if you want, and it will lower your required minimum distributions because the money used within a QLAC is not used to determine your required minimum distributions. And Jim and I both think that this is a game changer for the annuity industry. The only reason that you probably haven't heard about it is your agent is driven by commissions, unfortunately. Not I, not Jim. We really believe that these are pro-customer products because they're pure pension products. They're future pension products. So with that being said, there's a couple rules that the government has put in place from the standpoint of how much money you can put in. What they say and what the rules are currently is 25% of your total IRA assets or $125,000, whichever is less. For example, you have a $500,000 IRA, total IRA assets, you can only put in $125,000. If you have a $400,000 total IRA, you can put in $100,000. If you have a $1 million IRA, you can put in $125,000. Remember, 25% of your total IRA assets or $25,000 or $125,000, whichever is less. Those are the current rules. So, you can get a live quote on QLAC.direct. And you can, if you decide to purchase one there, you can go the whole route and look at the company, get the paperwork, et cetera, and do it yourself. But we've got a couple of slides that we want to kind of go through, which is, why a QLAC? And let me just talk about just conceptually what a qualified longevity annuity contract is. A longevity annuity is truly an immediate annuity that you can defer. And with a qualified longevity annuity contract, the longest you can go out is to age 85. A lot of people think you have to go that far, but you don't. You can defer from 70 and a half to age 71 if you want to, or you can ladder the $125,000 amount within, it's age 75, 80, 85. And another thing you can do, which I think is very important, is you can add your spouse as a lifetime guarantee annuitant to the policy, meaning that even though it's an IRA, even though you're the only name on that IRA and you own it, you can add your spouse to get a lifetime income stream as well. In addition, you can structure these policies numerous ways, but if you don't want the evil annuity company to keep a penny, you can structure the lifetime income stream to guarantee to pay you for life even if you lived 150. But if you die in a fiery Learjet crash and it runs right into the mountain, whatever's left in the account can be set up to go 100% a lump sum to the beneficiary. So don't believe that the evil annuity company gets to keep everything. So Jim, why don't you go through a couple of these bullet points? I'll chime in because I'm assuming at this point in time people don't want to hear me in my abrasive tone at this point.
They love you, Stan.
Exactly.
There's two issues that we look at with a QLAC, and looking at a planning perspective is what would you use a QLAC for? Well, there's two primary problems that a QLAC can solve. One is lifetime income beginning on a specified date in the future to provide you income that you can't outlive, which Stan just addressed. The second is it allows you to defer the mandatory distributions from a qualified money, which would be an IRA, between the ages of 71 and 85. So those are the two primary issues behind a QLAC that you're looking for. When this was created, point number two really wasn't the thrust of the Internal Revenue Service or the Treasury Department. What the thrust of this was point number one, which was to create a lifetime income stream so that people would not be broke in the later years of their lives. So that was the whole idea behind QLAC, was to give you a supplement, or in essence, a way to create your own Social Security payment with your own money from an IRA type of an account. So what I did was put together 4 things here just to look at, and I wanted to kind of go through these just as a planning tool of ways that we can look at using a QLAC in real life scenarios. But if you look at it, one there is that you want to raise income starting at age 75 to offset inflation impacting income, whether it be from your Social Security, from a pension, or just income you're getting from your own investment portfolio. But you wanted to get a raise in income and guarantee it for the remainder of your life starting at age 75. This would allow you to actually put the $125,000 or 25% of your IRA into an account, and you could see how much it would bump your income at that point. So, Stan, I wanted to run through a scenario of just running some quotes and looking at how this would actually work. So if we go back to the site, again, this is QLAC.direct. And then for those of you,
let me add something real quick. Hold on 2 seconds. Well, number one, I think it's very important because, you know, when Jim and I put this company together, Annuities.direct, transparency was a big thing. Information on your own terms was a big thing. And talking about the good and the bad of these products. All annuities have their benefits and limitations. If you wanted to look at the QLAC and just say, Stan, what's the benefits and limitations? Limitations of QLAC, it's not an investment. It's a transfer of risk contractual guaranteed pension product. There's no accumulation value. In other words, it doesn't grow by a specific amount, but the longer that you keep the money at the carrier, the more payment you're going to get, the more they're going to enhance the payout. And the other negative, I think, with the QLAC is liquidity. You can't change your mind and say, hey, send me all that money back. You can get all your money back via an income stream, but those would be the 2 things that would be the negative. The positive are obvious, which is lifetime income for either you or you and your spouse, and also lowered required minimum distribution. So let's walk through some quotes, and let's just show how easy it is to get a quote through QLAC.direct. And if you're at your computer, you can follow along with us and get a quote as we do this. So go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, so I mean, you can go to, I wanted to also bring up, this is the Annuity.direct site. So if you actually log into this site, you can get to a QLAC quote here at the top of the menu, or at the bottom, you can actually scroll down and it says, how do I get a quote? And you would go to, I need IRA income. This is a QLAC quote. So you're able to run it from either location. So let's just quickly click on it. And it's going to take us to the QLAC website, and you can see that down here, we tried to make it as simple as possible to run the quotes, and all you have to do is come down here, you put in if your gender, your male, let's say that we're age 65 today, that we live in the state of sunshiny Florida, and I'm married, so I want it for both myself and my spouse. And my spouse is age 64, and we want to put in $125,000 that we qualify for, and because we're going to defer it to age 75, we're going to defer it for 10 years, and so it's just that simple, and you just click Get a Quote, and when you when the quote pops up, it's going to tell you how much income you would get based on 2 scenarios. So Stan, why don't you explain to people how contractually the life only and life with a balanced refund works?
Absolutely. The first thing people we need to understand is we are the only platform that allow you to get a live quote, and these are live numbers, real numbers coming from the top carriers in the country without having to give away your information to someone pestering you. What single life only means is the highest contractual guarantee that you can get, But if your Learjet hits the mountain and goes poof, the money's going to go poof with you. And most of you probably think that that's the only way to structure annuity. That's incorrect. Single life only, joint life only is the highest contractual guarantee because it's going to pay for your life regardless of how long you live. But when you pass away or in a joint life situation when the second spouse passes away, game over, money goes poof. Okay? So it's a true transfer of risk. But most people, a lot of people, say, Stan, I've worked really hard for my money, and I really don't want the evil annuity company to get a penny. I want me and my wife to get lifetime income stream for the rest of our lives. But if we happen to die together or that second spouse dies early and we're neither of us around, whatever's left in that account, that balance is going to go in full lump sum to my beneficiaries. It's called Life with Cash Refund. Jim and I renamed it because it makes more sense to say Life with Balance Refund, because whatever balance is left in the account goes in full to your list of beneficiaries. So you can see that there's a little differential from the risk standpoint. It's $1265.11 per month for the rest of your life, regardless of how long you live. If you lived 125, 150, they're going to pay, all right? But if you say, you know what, I want to make sure that all 125,000 Stan and Jim are going to go to somebody, me, my wife, and someone in my family, then it's going to be $1217.44. That's just how, annuity companies don't give it away for free. They got the big buildings for a reason. This is a reflection of risk. How much risk do you want to shoulder? How much risk do you want to fully transfer? The $1217.44 is a full transfer of risk, protecting 100% of that initial premium.
All right. So if you want to actually get a copy of the companies, or you want to see who actually is quoting these dollar figures, then you have to put in your name. So, and the reason for this is because we're going to have to send it to you via email. So if I put in, I'm Stan Annuity Man, and I'm a male, and I'm born on January the 26th of 1952. It's going to calculate based on what age you told it. It'll automatically calculate it for you. And then I'm going to have them send me the email to Jim@annuities.direct so that I can look at it. And then I say, get a quote. And it's going to come back. If I didn't populate it completely, what you see, I left the spouse out, it's going to come back and tell you made a mistake. So I need to add my spouse. Her birthday is July 26th. 1952, and I want the income. I can choose when I want it to start. So we're going to choose June the 1st of 2028, which would be the year that we turn 75. It's an IRA account. Get the final quote. And then we play Jeopardy song. No.
There.
You can see in the center, download the quote. And you'll see at the bottom, it says, open the quote. And here is the actual quote. And when it opens the quote, you can just scroll through all the things popping up on my screen. You can scroll through, and you can see it's going to give back to me the stats I put in. I'm in Florida. I'm Stan the Annuity Man. It's prepared by Annuities.direct. The premium's $125,000. Income start date is 6/1 of 2028. And it will actually list for you on a life only who's giving that quote, and on a life with a balanced refund who's giving that quote. And if you choose which one you want, so we're going to choose life with a balanced refund. If I click on these insurance companies, it will actually take me to the point where I can populate the app and I can start the process of buying it from New York Life, Principal, AIG, Pac Life. They're all, you can see who's giving the quotes, and you choose who you want, and then you start the process of buying the annuity. So let's go back to what we were looking at a second ago, which is we're looking at whether or not we want to solve this problem. And how does this work? If we said we're taking a joint life with a balanced refund, it was $1,217.44 was the amount that would be paid to me. What I want to know is whether or not that gives me enough income at age 75 so that I can start planning accordingly. And if we say, well, I put in $125,000 and get $1,200 a month, that allows me to plan out at that point. What if it's not enough money? well, then you can go back and rerun the quote based on doing it at a later age. You can put more money in. You can change the parameters to get to the number that you want. So you can play the old Hewlett-Packard thing, what if, and you solve for the equation. So that's all that this is showing you, is that you can actually solve for different scenarios relative to what you're trying to do. I put down here you could have additional income for long-term care starting at age 75. You may want to have income to pay for assisted living facilities and turn it on at age 80. You may want to start gifting money to your children or grandchildren and turn it on at age 80 or age 75 and gift it to them. You could gift it to a charity. You could give it to your church of your choice. You could give it to Stan the Annuity Man.
Well, and people need to understand that annuities in this situation is for income, what I call income flooring. You're creating an income floor that you and your spouse can never outlive, that's always going to be there, just like Social Security. And by the way, a longevity annuity, a QLAC, works similar to Social Security. The longer you defer the money, the higher the payment, and it's an annuity payment that you can never outlive. So in this situation, QLACs, yes, the tax savings is great. Anytime we can legally save taxes, that's fantastic on our required minimum distributions. But this should really be pinpointed for income flooring, either in the, starting at a shorter time period. If you're 70 and a half, you might want to start at 75. Or if you're saying, hey, I really don't know what inflation is going to be down the road, but I'd like some extra income to be kicking in for me or me and my spouse, that's where a QLAC fits. If you get caught up in trying to say, well, Stan, if I put it into a Vanguard S&P fund, would it do better than QLAC? QLAC's not an investment. It's not a growth product. It's a transfer of risk pension product. So people always say to me, Stan, what's the return on investment of a QLAC lifetime income stream? I don't know. I'm going to tell your beneficiaries at your funeral, because at that point in time I will know, because I don't know ROI until you die. Do not look at a QLAC, and do not buy a QLAC if you're some whiz-bang master of the universe trying to manage money. But do use it if you want to set up a future income stream that's guaranteed, that's a transfer of risk, and if you want to add your spouse to that lifetime income stream. In that case, QLACs are going to work like a charm. And by the way, QLACs have no annual fees. These are very simplistic products. You can explain it to a 9-year-old. Warren Buffett would love a QLAC if he needed one, but he probably doesn't need one. But he would love the structure and the easy to understand, transparent nature of it.
All right, let's go on and look at, determining if a QLAC works for you. And Stan's covered a lot of these points, and not to, beat to death, but determine how much money you have in your qualified account is the first step. I mean, if you have $500,000 in it, $500,000, 25% is going to be $125,000. So it's going to be more than that, but 400,000, you can put in 100,000. So if you have, it's easy to calculate. If you got 200,000, then you can put in 50,000. It's easy to figure out how much you can put into a QLAC by just using that simple 25% rule, with knowing the max is 125,000. You can run a quote at QLAC.direct, and then you can determine the amount that will meet your needs or objectives, like we were just talking about. If the answer is yes, this fits, then you just go to the application process, as we were talking about on QLAC.direct. If the answer is no, because you need to put more money in, then you may want to consider a DIA. And since you brought that up, Stan, I actually pulled up that we have DIAs.direct.
Yeah, and a DIA is a deferred income annuity, and it's a longevity annuity. That's what a DIA is. QLAC is qualified longevity annuity contract used inside of an IRA. This is a longevity annuity used outside of an IRA, and it also can be used inside of an IRA, but you can only defer it up to age 70 and a half. Then if you want to defer past 70 and a half in an IRA, you'd use a QLAC. But a deferred income annuity works the same way. It's a future income stream. With a DIA, you can defer as far out as 45 years as a deferral time period. But once again, it's a transfer risk pension product that you can use inside of an IRA or outside of an IRA. And also, too, understand that during the process, and that we are the pioneers of the direct-to-consumer model. Jim and I have put everything on the line right here, because we truly believe that the annuity consumer needs to be in charge, and that's what these sites give you. But understand that we have the best administrative team in the world. So they're going to be there for you if you need questions asked. We do have books written on all of these subjects, QLAC owners manuals, DIA's owners, everything. You can get those for free. We won't bug you. We'll just send it to you so you can read it. And if you do want to hold your nose and talk to an agent, you're going to be talking to me, okay? We will walk you through that, but we really believe we're going to provide enough information for you to make a decision. And understand this too, and Jim and I are very, very passionate about this. With annuities, there is a free look time period where you can get your money back after the policy is delivered. After you've actually purchased it and the policy is in your hand, the annuity business has done one thing right, and that one thing is provide a free look time period for each state. Each state has different lengths of time, but it ranges from 10 to 30 days where you can get your money back. So there's not a financial product on the planet that does that, but annuities do. And Jim and I are very passionate about that from the standpoint of A, you're in control. B, you're going to make your own decisions on your own term. And C, there's a money back guarantee with a free look time period if something has changed in your situation from the time you bought it, or if you just say, you know what, I don't want to do that. And we really believe that this concept, annuities.direct, and the free look time period all go together to make this a pro-consumer thought, strategy, and the future for the annuity industry.
And so the reason I brought that up is that sometimes in talking with people is that, $125,000 in a QLAC isn't enough to give them and or meet their objectives. So you can actually split fund it where you put the maximum into $125,000 into the QLAC, and then you could put the difference into a DIA, deferred income annuity contract, to make up the difference. So you're not stuck out in the rain, not being able to fully fund that. You can split fund it so that you can actually accomplish the objectives. If your answer is still no, you may want to consider, a longer deferral period past age 75, maybe to age 80. Obviously, the longer you defer it, the higher the income stream, because it is a life expectancy-based contract, so it's something important to look at. But if you want to learn more, you can order a QLAC handbook relative to, you just go back to the QLAC website, and you can see right there in the middle of the page, you can get a copy of the QLAC owner's manual. You just click on it, and when you click on it, it'll actually take you to an order form. You populate it, and we'll mail it directly to you as quickly as possible. So it's pretty simple, pretty seamless. We're not going to bug you, as Stan said. And if it doesn't fit your needs at all or your objectives, look at something else. I mean, don't try to put a square peg in a round hole. Make sure that the old game that we play with kids. Make sure that what you're trying to matches, and if it doesn't, then move on. Too many times annuities are sold to people versus people buying annuities. So buy what fits you. Don't be sold something that you don't need.
Absolutely correct, and we really want to eliminate the agents being involved to try to steer you to something that they want you to buy, so that will benefit them, and not a product that's simplistic like this that you actually probably need. So, with that, Jim, I think this has been a good start for people to find out about QLACs. We want them to interact with us, via the website, email us questions, etc. We're here for you. Order the book, run the quotes, and see if those contractual guarantees are right for you. And remember, you own an annuity for what it will do, not what it might do. You buy the contractual guarantees. That's what sets us apart at annuities.direct.
All right. Stan, obviously, we'd like to answer everybody's questions, but we are limited on time, so I'm going to I'm just going to let you answer them. I'm going to read them off of here so I can see what's going on. And that'll make it easier for both of us instead of trying to read and talk at the same time, which I don't do very well. And by the way, if you have questions that we don't cover tonight, you can always go to annuities.direct and you click on Ask Direct right there on the screen, and it will come up with a place for you to actually type in your name and email address. You can ask us direct. We'll answer those within 24 hours so that you have the answer back to you. So there's definitely ways to ask questions other than on a webinar. First question I got, Stan, is that you said that as long as I live, that I'll get the income. Does that mean if I lived, if I'm one of these people that actually is, fortunate enough to live beyond
That is
age
correct.
100, that I would still get
Annuity payments are based
paid?
on your life expectancy, or if it's joint life expectancies at the time of the payment. So in essence, you're making a bet with the annuity company to say, you know what, I think I'm going to live longer than you think I'm going to live, and if I do, you're on the hook to pay. And that's the transfer risk benefit proposition aspect of a QLAC or any type of annuity that's in a lifetime income guarantee, that they're going to pay regardless of how long you live.
I think you might have answered this in the presentation, but I'll ask it again from one of the people on the webinar, is that if I die before I start my monthly distribution, what happens to my money? If you die before
the income starts, 100% of the money goes to your beneficiaries.
So, all right. And then another one asked, if I die a year, kind of the same question, but if I die a year or two into taking my monthly distribution, what happens
life
to the
only,
rest
as
of
we
my
discussed in the webinar, money goes poof. Okay, but if it's structured life with a cash refund, refund as Jim and I call it, if it's life with balance refund, your beneficiaries are going to get 100% of that balance left in the account when you die.
And here's one from the our resident pessimist. There's
always one of them.
There's always one. If I'm calculating correct, if I put $125,000 in and I die before the income starts, my beneficiary gets $125,000 back. So the insurance company got my money without paying me anything.
It's a transfer of risk. If you want an investment, go buy one. But this is a transfer of risk pension product. That is one of the downsides. Remember, the other downside is there's no liquidity to this. You're going to get your money back through payments. But payments, liquidity, and also growth, what we call accumulation value, is non-existent in the QLAC. If that's a sticking point for you, don't buy a QLAC.
All right. Another one says, Stan, based on what you've said in the tonight, that this is only for qualified money. What if I don't have any qualified money, but I still want this type of
It's called a deferred income
stream?
annuity, and DIAS.direct, DIAS.direct is another sister site here that you can go get the same type of longevity annuity, because the annuity industry, for whatever reason, they've not they have numerous names for things that are the same thing. So a deferred income annuity is the same thing as a longevity annuity. So if you have no IRA money, you can obviously go to DIAS.direct and get the exact same product, but outside of an IRA or within an IRA, deferring to age 70 and a half. So it's still, the strategy is still available to you.
Stan, if I want to find out more,
yeah.
but I don't want to talk to you or go to your website, what would you recommend?
Ordering the book. I wrote a book called the QLAC Owner's Manual. It's like a 50-page quick read. You could read it in an hour, and it covers the good, the bad, the ugly, the benefits, the limitations of the product. It answers a lot of the questions that will get you to the finish line. That's what I would do. No strings attached. No one's going to show up at your door. No one's going to call you. You're going to realize that we don't really ask for that type of information because we don't want to bug you. We respect you. We understand that you can make your own decisions if given the right information, and Jim and I, our goal is to provide that information to you.
Okay, I saved one of my favorite ones for you. Can I really buy a QLAC without talking to an agent?
Switch. I mean, the annuity industry is not caught up to Jim and myself from the standpoint of just technology. Annuities.direct is light years ahead of the annuity industry. So at the very end of the process of filling out the paperwork, a very nice licensed person from Minnesota who's not an agent, but they have to be licensed under the law, is going to walk you through the final steps of the paperwork. So they are going to talk to you, but they're not going to be some whiz-bang, bad, cheap suit, chicken dinner seminar agent. It's going to be a very nice person who's going to walk you through the paperwork and the best customer service on the planet.
I was hoping you could get a few more
I was going to say like bad Dockers wearing, but there could be some executive for Dockers out there, and I really like Dockers, the pants, of course.
All right, and so due to the time constraints, I'm going to ask one last question. It says, are are you going to have more webinars on annuities?
Well,
And if
annuities.direct
so, how do
and
I
also
find out about them?
QLAC.direct and all the sister sites will have the webinars listed. But in addition to the webinars, Jim and myself we're very excited about the podcast that we're doing as well. We just finished one with the president and CEO of Mechanics Corporation, which provides a lot of the live quotes to us, and we just finished that up and editing that. So we're going to provide a lot of information, articles, webinars, ongoing. So, check back to the site and, see what we're doing. But we're going to be doing these all the time, and then you're going to be able to replay them back and listen on your own terms. Again, there's never an urgency to buy an annuity. I don't care what any agent tells you. These are contracts. These are transfer risk products. So we're just going to provide you the best information on the planet so you can make your own decision on your own terms and on your own time frame, which is very unique to the annuity industry.
All right, with that, I think we're out of time. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. If you have questions, obviously you can just go to Ask Direct and ask your questions. We'll answer those. If you want to learn more information, you can go to any 4 of the websites here. You can go to annuities.direct. Plenty of data there for you to decipher. You can run a quote. You can go through the whole thing on your own. You can learn and ask. So we're here to help you as much as possible. Stan, I want to thank you for joining us and making it enlightening on how to use
Annuities.direct.
QLACs
Remember,
for income.
no agent needed.